Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you are well. Hope you're having a good year so far. If you're not, you've got the rest of the year. That's all I can say. What I wanted to do was basically take my channel into a slightly different direction, not permanently or anything. So this is just an incorporation of new ideas. So I'm trying to make sure that I incorporate different aspects of my life. And one thing I realized that I'm a mum. And actually, no, I didn't just wake up and realize that I'm a mom. One thing I realized is that this is the part of my life that I haven't talked about, and I have some thoughts on it. You know, I'm not professional. I am not a mom of 5 or a mom of 3, a mom of 4. I'm a mom of 1, and so far I have 2 years experience. My daughter is 2, and I wanted to share some things, some frustrating, some good, some bad, just things that I have come across in my 2-year journey. And yeah, so normally I do makeup, skincare hauls, I do demos, tests, foundation reviews, all that stuff. So I do have a lot of that coming up as well, so please stay tuned. If you're one of my subscribers or if you've seen my channel before, that stuff isn't going away. That's going to be a staple. That's what I started this channel for. But what I actually wanted to talk about in this particular video, oh, by the way, also subscribe. If you're not subscribed, that is a crime. It is officially a crime in 2019 if you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed. But yeah, do please subscribe if you do like my content. If you're not, hey, I can't please everybody, but if you do like my content, you know, just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button while you're at it. They're next to each other, they're free. And yeah, so you don't miss any of my uploads. And also leave a comment down below. Comments help the video, so I just want to be out there and I just want to just at least be clear. Share your thoughts. You know, comment sections are basically like little communities, and you see people leaving comments and I just basically scroll through. This is what I do now when I watch any YouTuber's video, big or small. I scroll through the comments while I'm watching the video, and it's just good to see if anybody thinks the same as me. So if you have some thoughts on the content you've just seen, leave a comment. It's free. You know, it definitely gets conversations going, it gets wars going, it gets battles going, it gets everything going. So, you know, be careful what you put there. You know, what you put there is up to you, but you know, get the conversation going. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on what you've seen on my channel on this particular video, please leave your comments down below. But yeah, so back to what I wanted to talk about. So I am a mom of 1 and I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's amazing, and I wanted to talk about things that I have come across or things I wish I knew. So this video is going to be titled Things I Wish I Knew, you know, before becoming a mom, or things I have learned as a mom, something thereabouts. I don't know yet. I've already put my points on my phone so I don't forget anything. So like another thing that I didn't realize is how much control you lose as a parent, and that's whether that be control over your schedule, control over your life, control over the child itself, himself or herself. There's certain things you just basically have to know what battles to pick. You really do have to pick your battle. You have to be very wise about the battles that you pick, and just know when to give in and know when to keep on going. That, you know, it's gonna, you know, you're gonna see that light, that tiny light at the end of the tunnel. It's just gonna get brighter and brighter as you get closer to it. But sometimes that light just stays there, or there is no light at the tunnel. You just have to kind of walk away from the situation and just hope it diffuses itself. So there's some things that you just have to, I've learned to have to, that I have no control over. One for me is her eating. Right, so she's not necessarily a picky baby in any way, but she is a very, very slow eater. And I mean slow. When I tell you, it takes, sometimes she's been known to take 2 hours to eat her breakfast, lunch or dinner. I am not joking. Like, if you have a child that can eat their breakfast, lunch or dinner under 30 minutes, you are lucky. I mean, you've made it. You have made it. That is just like the end goal for me. She takes a very long time to eat. She's a very slow eater, and I am the reason why. And I know is this karma? Is this, I don't know, because I am a very slow eater. I am usually the one that has to, or if I have a chance, I will order first and start eating first so that I can catch up, so that I can be finished by the time everybody else has finished eating. In my group of friends, they know me. I am a very slow eater. I just chew and chew and chew like a cow. I just carry on chewing and chew and chew, and I can't talk and eat at the same time. So I know where she gets that from. She holds her food in her mouth for like several minutes sometimes. It depends on the texture. So what I've learned and watching her eat is the fact that she doesn't do well with hard, like, textured food. So a lot of things still have to be like not mashed, but just cut down a lot finer, or they have to be really soft so it can go down quicker. And that's just what I'm doing right now. And I'm just trying to survive out here. Right now I'm not too worried about the quantity of food she's eating or anything like that. It's more the time it takes to feed the girl. So yeah, she takes a very long time, and that's just one of the things I've lost control over. And you can't physically force a child to eat quicker or as quickly as you want. So with her, she takes a lot of time to eat, and that's just something I've made my peace with. That is just, hopefully she will speed up. But on that front, I've definitely lost control, or maybe I never even had control. Shout out to all my mothers out there who are suffering with me. And if you have a baby that's, you know, a toddler that's a slow eater, you know, I'm in there with you. We are battling this battle together, battling this fire together. There's other things as well that, you know, you don't have control over, whether your child prefers, you know, the breast to, you know, the bottle. It could be the type of bottle teat. With her, she never took to the bottle, so she just liked breast all the way. I tried so many different bottle teats, all wasted money, but who cares? She doesn't care. It's not her money. So yeah, you don't have control over that, what your child prefers. The other things like dummy, I really wanted her to be on a dummy actually, it was more for my own selfish reasons, because I knew there would be situations where we'll be out and I can't feed her. I wanted to know that the dummy would, you know, be something that would hold her down, you know, for a few minutes, or if she's been restless or unsettled, I wanted to have that dummy as like my little insurance policy, just to, you know, give it to her. Not so she could be like 3 or 4 and still have a dummy in her mouth, not like that, but just for those emergency moments. But she just never liked the dummy, and that was something I was not prepared for. I just assumed all babies like dummies. Half the babies I see have a dummy in their mouth at some point when they're young. So that's something I definitely didn't prepare for. I bought like four different types of dummies, and they're all sitting there in my garage now collecting dust. So yeah, there's so many things that you don't, you know, that you lose control over, but obviously you realize at the point when it happens, not when you're preparing for that particular thing. But yeah, if you have, comment down below if your child actually prefer the breast over a dummy, or if they were actually fine with it, or if you had to basically search for that one dummy that they finally liked, and now they've, you know, now that you can't get it off them. Comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also on the subject of eating, one thing I wasn't prepared for was her preference for food. She's not necessarily a fussy eater, but what I found was when we were transitioning from milk to solids, I was on this, you know, because I was at home with her, so I wanted to make sure that she was fed home cooked meals. None of that jar nonsense, none of it. I didn't even have a single jar. I didn't even have like an emergency jar in my cupboard. Actually no, like I probably had like one that came with like a baby pack or something like that. I didn't have any formula because I wanted to breastfeed all the way. That I managed to stick to for the most part, I think. Yeah. The only thing with the food was she would love like the baby fruit purees. I bought so many different fruits just to make sure that she had, you know, different options of fruit puree. I made them all from scratch. She ate those, didn't have a problem with that. But when it came to savory options, she didn't eat them. And I am a good cook. I mean, I'm gonna toot my own horn here. I can cook, and you know, surely baby food cannot be that hard. I know I read a few recipe books online, and they're just basically mashed vegetables with a bit of gravy, with a bit of chopped chicken. Really simple things that you can't go wrong with. But for some reason, there's some things that I made that she didn't like, and it came to a point where even my husband had to intervene, and he was just like, you know what, let's just get some jar foods and see how she likes it. And I was like, nope. So I carried on, and I was basically the only one feeding her because he could not take this fussy baby who just could not be bothered with my cooking. I spent a long time in the kitchen chained to that hot stove, you know, sweating up a storm, trying to make sure that I made her different options of food. Sometimes I batch cooked and froze some. Sometimes I made things fresh. I mean, whatever it was, I wanted to make sure it was home cooked, that she did not go within a single distance, like of jar food or pre-made food. I just wanted to make sure she had the best, which was home cooked food. But it came to a point where she would only eat like fruit options, but she wouldn't eat the majority of the savory options I was making. And it was simple things like mashed vegetables, and it wasn't hard. And I could not get this girl to eat quickly, or she would just take time to eat it. And my husband basically just threw his arms up and gave up, and he was like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna go get some jars, some baby food jars, and we'll see how she likes it. And I thought, I was just so made up in my mind that this girl was not gonna eat it, that she wasn't gonna eat my home cooked fresh meals that tasted nice. She was definitely not going to eat the crap that was being served in baby jars. And lo and behold, I feel like that's probably one of the most painful things I've ever had to see as a mom. In, I think, was it the space of 20 minutes, 15 minutes? It was the quickest she'd ever eaten anything in her life. And she ate it. And I think it was like baby, like spaghetti bolognese, and it was just basically pureed. It smelled really like deodorized, like just, it smelled sanitized. That's what it almost smelled of bleach. That's how clean that jar of food smelled. And it tasted horrible. Obviously it tasted horrible. And she loved it. Yeah. That's the thing about babies, you just can't control what they like, and you can try as much as you want to make things the way that you think they should like it. You just can't make that decision for them, and this obviously will carry on into their adult life. You just have to just be happy for them, and this is where it starts, with the baby food. So yeah, she stabbed me in the heart by eating the whole content of that baby jar food, and since then we've had to buy more and more jar food. And obviously I didn't give up. There are certain things that I still kept trying, because I was just convinced that this girl cannot keep eating. I mean, I wasn't going to feed her on a diet of just jar food. That's just impossible. But what I learned to do was to basically change my tactic and incorporate pre-made food in her diet. And that was just something that, I mean, it hurt me every time I had to open up a jar or a pouch of food or something that I knew I didn't make. And it was just like, oh gosh, I can't believe this girl is going to betray me over and over again. But yeah, that is, such is life. Sometimes they do that, and to be honest, it did actually end up saving me time in the kitchen. I didn't have to spend so much time after making our food than, you know, having to think of what to make for her. It did actually end up being quite convenient, but I still was resistant to use jar food like the majority of the time. But yeah, so that was something I wasn't prepared for. I just assumed that she would taste fresh food and she would love it, but she didn't always. It just depended on what I was making. So and I tried many different options. And also, this is more of a tip for the moms out there. This isn't really, you know, about your child. This is more for you. So if you're one of those, I feel like I've just touched my... So if you're one of those moms that likes to get on with it, you just like to, you know, if something needs to be done, you're just going to do it. You're not going to bother asking for help. That was me. So even throughout my pregnancy, people were like, are you even pregnant? Like, you're just carrying these bags, or just carrying on with life like nothing, like just basically skipping down the road kind of thing. It wasn't so much that I didn't want to take a break. It was more just like, just get on with it. You know, I'm pregnant. Loads of women are pregnant. In fact, this is what I kept telling myself. Loads of women are pregnant around the world. You know, in Africa, I'm Nigerian. You know, women are pregnant, and they've got what do you call it? I think they're called street hawkers, and they've got like trays of stuff that they have to sell on their heads with their baby on their backs in the hot sun, obviously baby covered. But the point is, these are hustlers. These are working moms, and they just get on with it. Why am I complaining? And what I didn't learn, which I will make sure I do the next time round, is to basically play damsel in distress. Sometimes I feel like some of these, you know, husbands or partners out here don't necessarily realize when you're tired, especially when you're the type to be tired and still carry on anyway. So this is a tip for you dads out there, to make sure that you are helping out as much as possible. Sometimes even when we've got something, it's nice to have something taken off us, so, you know, we can put our feet up. You know, as a woman, you know, we're always trying to like overachieve. As a woman, I feel like I'm always trying to overachieve and, you know, do more, set myself high, you know, harder targets, trying to just make sure I get things done so I can rest, because I'm not one of those people that rests knowing that something needs to be done. I have to get that thing out of the way first before I can truly put my feet up. Otherwise, resting is in vain. That's how I feel. So that carried on through my pregnancy. You know, I would cook, clean, do whatever, and yeah, I just did not remember to ask for help. How about that? So I feel like I definitely will take a lot of times out, and if the house is untidy, fine. And even when my baby was born as well, I felt like I still carried on with that same memento. Like I didn't really, obviously I spent like the first few like weeks with her, I didn't really concentrate too much on the house. It was all about her, you know. We were in that new baby, new mom mode. But after a while, you just snap back to your normal routine again. And what I didn't always remember to do was ask for help. And it came to a point where when I went back to work, I actually realized that once I came back from work, like really late, say around 7 o'clock, I'd have dinner to make, then I'd have to feed the baby, and then somebody would have to bath the baby, and then at some point in all of that, I'd have to eat dinner. And that was aside from like tidying up in the kitchen or watching TV, having time for my shows, things like that. All of that slips away, and before you know it, you're having your dinner at 11 o'clock at night, and you need to get up at 6. So basically learning to ask for help, even if you don't think you need the help. Even I think about it this way: if you ask for help, it frees up your time to do other things, and whether other things means more work, whatever, or just resting. So, and also because it, you know, it gives somebody else a sense of accountability. It's always good to share the responsibility as well. So if you're, you know, if you're a mom out there and you're one of those who likes to get on with it, you know, let your husband or your partner or whatever have a chance to share in that workload, so you're not there working yourself to the bone, you know, sweating up a storm, working chores, all of that, and somebody is just sitting there thinking you've got this, when really you're cussing them off because they didn't ask you if you needed help, but then you yourself did not ask them to help. So, you know, the responsibility goes both ways, and it's also good just to have, you know, your husband or your partner or whoever chipping in, just to make sure that that workload is halved. And it's such a smart move. If you're one of those that likes to get on with things, trust me, you want to delegate. Like, delegation is such an art. I feel like I'm finally mastering it now. You don't want to delegate to the point where you're almost looking lazy and you're there twiddling your thumbs because you've delegated everything, but you want to delegate to the point where you are not stressed and, you know, the workload is shared. That's, you know, that's just where I'm trying to get to in life right now. I would delegate the ish out of anything right now. Like, delegation is like goals for 2019. I'm delegating everything. So yeah, learn to play damsel in distress and learn to play victim. You know, you need to learn to lie down every now and then. You don't have to work so hard all the time. But yeah, you know, learn to delegate so you don't feel so stressed and worked up and resentful as well, because you'll get to a point where you're just cussing somebody off who's just doesn't even know, who is there thinking, oh, my wife works so hard, or my girl works so hard, and you're just there cussing him off thinking, look at him chilling while I'm working. Like, you don't want to get to that point. So just, you know, make sure you delegate. So that's definitely something that I will implement the next time around, or definitely something that I'm implementing right now in my life. Also, with being a new mom, and I feel like everybody's going to make this mistake despite advice, despite what anybody says, and that is the fact that you don't need as many clothes as you think you need. A lot of the clothes I bought for her weren't even needed, because she got so many gifts, so many toys, so many clothes, so many this, so many that. She didn't really need anything from either one of us, to be very honest, but I kept on buying anyway because there were things that I wanted to buy for her because I like them. And turns out she spent like at least 80 to 90% of her time in her onesie. So half the time I felt pressure to like change her into outfits just to make sure that she got to wear them before she grew out of them, and half of them she didn't need. As a first time mom, or as a mom, you know that your baby will spend a lot of the time in their onesie, not in an outfit, in their onesie. So you don't need as many outfits as you think you need. So if you're a new mom and you're there, or if you're just newly pregnant and you're already planning shopping trips to go, you know, spend money on baby clothes and this and that, whatever quantity you think you need, half it, and then half that, and that's probably what you need. So yeah, you definitely don't need as many clothes as you think you need, because a lot of her clothes now, some of them she didn't even get to sniff at, and they're back in a box somewhere. She's grown out of them. So I feel like that I've got kind of under control now. But when she was younger, I had so many cute baby outfits that she didn't even get to wear, or she wore it once and then it was, yeah, yeah. Anyway, it hurts. That's just money down the drain. I didn't throw them away. I have kept them, but still, it's something I wanted her to get more use out of. Also, this is one that I want you to think about very carefully. So this is a point that I actually thought, okay, well, not all good advice is good for you. And what I mean by that is there's so many tested, tried and true things that people will tell you. I mean, as soon as people hear pregnancy, they'll be like, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, don't do this, make sure you do this, and if all else fails, do this. Or there's certain traditions that you have to maybe stick to, you know, in your culture. If you're Nigerian, if you're you know, there's certain things that we do that, you know, we just have to do, and certain things that sometimes you just have to, you know, stand up on your 2 feet and say, I'm a grown ass woman. Okay, I will do what I see fit. I will do what I feel like. I will do what I damn well please. And I feel like there were certain points when I feel like I should have said that, but obviously out of respect or out of whatever, fear, out of, you know, whatever it was, I didn't. And you have to learn to say no. Like, you have to say thank you, but no thanks. Or better yet, act like you've listened, nod your head, acknowledge, and then do what you need to do. Whichever strategy applies, do it, because you can't take all advice from everyone, because what works for their baby or what worked for them at the time certainly might not even be legal today. Like, it might not even be legal, it might not even be healthy. So certain things that you hear from, like, you know, grandmothers or older women or whatever that they did, you know, some of them are, you know, they are from a very wise place and they still work to this day. But some of them you kind of side eye and you think, I am not doing that with my child. Like, heck to the no. So I mean, when people give you advice, you know, you definitely want to take it with a pinch of salt. Sometimes if you feel like you want to try it out, at least try it, so you know you've tried it once, and if it didn't work, move along. But don't feel like you have to stick to something if you, in your heart of hearts, you know, if you're in your gut you feel like it's not working. You know, this is your time to defend your child, defend your life, defend your taste, defend whatever feels right for you. So definitely you don't need to, even if it sounds logical, like take, for example, like a lot of medical professionals will tell you, you probably need to wake your baby up like every 2-3 hours. But that was actually a battle that I had to fight in my mind so many times, because I felt like I wanted to wake her up because she was such a small baby and I just wanted her to be big and put on weight so quickly. So I had to battle and think, okay, do I want her to sleep? Because obviously sleep is when a child, you know, her cells are developing, her cells are multiplying, she's growing, things are repairing, her brain is that's when her brain has downtime to repair her body, to make sure she's developing things that she should be developing. I don't want to disturb that process. And then there's, you know, people saying, oh, she's small, she needs to eat, wake her up. So I feel like, so for, you know, for me particularly, I did a bit of both until I actually thought, you know, I'm not going to wake her up anymore. I stood on my 2 feet and I actually thought, no, what she needs is sleep. If she wants to sleep, let her sleep. When she wakes up, she will eat. And I felt like I had peace when I made that decision. So if you're getting advice from all certain points, you definitely feel like you are not being settled, or that you're getting, your mind is not at rest. So do whatever you need to do to make sure your mind is at rest, because you've already got a baby to worry about, you've got your normal routine to worry about, you've got your relationship with your partner to worry about. You don't need to worry about other advice and other voices in your ear. So, you know, listen, don't block them out immediately and being like mama bear mode. Listen and think about it, digest on the advice and think, okay, is this worth trying? Is this not? You know, have I tried this before? Did it work? Okay, you know, that's what you need to bear in mind, that you don't need to take all advice from everyone, because not everything will work for you. Even if it's tried and true, even if it is tested, even if it is proven, it won't necessarily work for you, and it might not even be right for you. Okay, we're down to our last 3 points. Also, one thing I have realized is how much, okay, so people say that, you know, having a baby will take over your life, and that is something that I kind of expected, but I didn't appreciate how much what that actually meant, or what that involved. And that definitely is so true. And you know, from every waking moment to the time when you go to bed, you've got baby on the mind. Like every 2 minutes you've got baby on the mind. They really do take over your life. Do not think they're just gonna fit into your schedule, and you know they're gonna wake up and eat and play and sleep and bedtime, and it's just like schedule, and they're just gonna be so well behaved. No, they are think of them as spoiled little brats. And I know this is probably not a good thing, but think of them as spoiled little brats that get their way for a very short time, as in that babies I'm talking about, not toddlers. So from the moment she was born, she obviously had her own feeding schedule, and then after a while, you know, you start to realize things about her. But the point is, what she wants to do that day is what she wants to do, especially as a baby. You have to go along with it. You can't fight it. If you do, you're just causing yourself more stress. Obviously, there's certain things that you can do to manipulate that, such as sleep training. You know, the time that she sleeps and wakes up, you can adjust that to make sure that it kind of fits into your schedule. But if you've got a really strong-minded baby that just wants to sleep and wake up at a certain time, boy, you are at a loss. You might just have to go along with the ride. But at least now that my baby's older, I can definitely say that her schedule definitely still, you know, determines my schedule. I have to plan my day according to how she sleeps, her naps, her eating, things like that have to be planned around her. I mean, she is the star of the show. She always will be. And I feel like as she goes older, obviously that will lessen. But right now, she does take over my whole life, like to a point where, yeah, so where people used to say, so this will lead to my next point. This is a point where I think maybe it was like a celebrity magazine, or so, I don't know what maybe it was like a magazine that I read or in a movie or in an advert or something, where most moms, I kept coming across this, where most moms will say that, you know, they're just so busy chasing after their kid that they don't have time to eat. And I'd be like, how can you not have time to eat? If you're not hungry, maybe you're not hungry enough. Like, how can you not have time to eat? And it's not about that. It's the fact that your life is so busy, especially if you're a working mom as well, or if you're just a very active or socially active mom, that their schedule and other things just come, and before you know it, the whole day's gone and you've only had breakfast, or the whole day's gone, you've only had lunch, or the whole day's gone, you've had breakfast, lunch and no dinner, you're already in bed and you've totally forgotten, or you don't even have time, or you're too tired to even think about getting out of bed to make yourself dinner. So that happens to me a lot now. So many times where I will come home from work, feed her, make dinner, I don't even have time to eat the dinner. Sometimes I'm too tired to even eat it and I go straight to bed, or I eat it when everybody else has gone to bed and I finally have peace. So things like that will happen. Obviously, it's down to your schedule and how organized you are. Maybe part of that is down to the fact that, you know, I'm not the most organized person, but I am getting there. There are things that I'm reworking in my schedule to make sure that I can do that, but not always. Even till now, I can't say that I always have time to have my dinner. Like today, I've had a busy day. I haven't had my dinner. I had a brunch. I didn't have breakfast. It was like an in-between breakfast and lunch. I had a full English, but I had it at 12, so it's kind of a brunch for me, and I haven't had, usually that carries me for several hours anyway, but I haven't had dinner because I haven't had time, or I didn't plan my day properly, or whatever it is. Things have happened and I'm here and I haven't had dinner. So sometimes things like that will happen. So they do definitely take over your life. And, you know, next time somebody tells you, oh, they've been so busy, they haven't had time to eat, don't roll your eyes I mean, I used to roll my eyes inwards when I heard that, and I'll be like, please, you are not hungry. If you are hungry, you find time to eat. But no, that is not the case. Sometimes you are actually simply too busy looking after them, chasing after whatever you're chasing after, to actually eat. And second to the last is actually, you know, a really good point. I feel like I've actually been ranting for the past like umpteen minutes, but second to the last point is the fact that looking at your child, you know, your daughter, your son, your children, would actually, you know, be the best part of your day. So, you know, coming home to them, the thought of coming home to them, like before, I used to look forward to coming home to my TV shows, but now, yes, and that's another thing. Like when people say, oh no, they're too busy to watch TV, and again, I roll my eyes and I'm like, those shows are not important. I mean, for me, my shows were my thing. Like, I come home, I don't have any extracurricular activities, so I come home to my TV, I watch my shows, I have dinner, I go to bed. That's usually the routine. So obviously that was before she was born, but now none of that. I'm watching shows that I recorded 2 weeks ago and I still haven't caught up. So it's things like that that happen, and you're like, you know, that's just life. So the fact that, you know, that is what you're now coming home to, you know, the fact that you get to see them is actually quite refreshing. At least it's diverted my attention. It's made me reprioritize my life. So coming home to them is now something that I look forward to rather than the TV. And I'd say like it's the simple things that like that really make my day. So seeing her laugh, seeing her smile, seeing her coming to me to do something cheeky, even when she comes to me and she goes peekaboo, or she says hi. Like you've probably, if you've heard a child saying hi, I mean, surely hopefully you would have figured out that's my daughter. She says hi a lot. She says hi a lot, a heck of a lot more than she needs to. She says hi to strangers. She says hi to people strangers, people she doesn't know, people she does know, whatever. She says hi. She greets a lot of people, and you just get used to that. Things like that, you know, really do cheer me up when I think about the fact that you know, somebody sneezed while we were on the bus one day and she went bless you, and the whole bus started laughing. So things like that really do cheer you up, like things that you wouldn't really expect. That's basically the life of a mom right now, my life right now. And yeah, so things like that are really nice moments that you do cherish. So I never really expected to have, you know, those type of moments. I don't know, I didn't really think that far, to be honest, but yeah, things like that really do cheer up your day. And also finally, that having her would also make me appreciate the choices that my parents made, or like that my mom made particularly for me. That, yeah, so it makes you appreciate, it really does add years to you in terms of wisdom. Things that, you know, things that you used to hate. I mean, we all had the teenage moments where, you know, we slammed doors, or that we shouted back, or that we argued back, or that we were secretly cussing off our parents because something happened, or they didn't let you go out, or, you know, choices that they made that you didn't really agree with at the time, but that were for your own benefit. And so yes, I feel like I am I'm now in a place where I appreciate those choices, and I'm hoping she will too appreciate the choices that I've made for her as she grows up, or, you know, as she learns more, that she understands why mommy says you shouldn't talk to strangers, or why mommy says you shouldn't eat certain things outside, or that you shouldn't eat too much sugar, so it's, you know, it's bad for your, you know, it's bad for your health, and that, you know, that type of thing. I really do hope that she does appreciate when she is older, as she grows older. So yeah, so those are the things, those are the ramblings of a mom, and yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to just share with you guys. And yeah, please do comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, just to see what you can relate to, or what you can share, or anything that I've missed. You know, this isn't everything, this is just what I can think of right now. I'm sure there's a million and one other things that I wish I knew as a mom, or while I was pregnant, or as a mom right now, actually. So yeah, so this is where I'm going to drop the mic. So if you liked what you've seen, please do give it a massive thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe. That would help. Hit the notification button. I do have other tips and tricks and top this and top that things that I've learned that I would love to share on my channel. And yeah, so until further ado, until next time, have a blessed morning, evening, afternoon, night. That's the wrong order, but anywho, I'm tired. And I will talk to you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye for now.